p.m. to 1 a.m. with takeout available. Visit nightingalempls.com for details.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting live on AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota, in the evenings in Chicago on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, and of course in Seattle, 1150 AM KKNW. It is the Matt McNeil Show for your Friday. Guest-free this hour. In the next hour, great rural Democrat Anita Gall is going to join us here. Michael Broadcorp's going to join us coming up here. 4 o'clock's full, but wide open right now. Please feel free, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Brett is here with us today. Hello, Brett. How are we?
Hi there. Doing good. How about you?
I'm fine. I actually, I needed, okay. So apparently this is the lesson I've kind of learned this week. Hey, I've had lots of threats against me too. Well, those don't matter. Oh, okay. All right. I'll just be quiet. So it was nice for me to reconnect with a very positive and very cool friend of mine, known on social media as Peril and Pink. It's Gina, and she's fantastic. And it was just, I had a nice coffee today. I was able to get some work done. I've realized now, okay, I had a moment because, I'm about to become an empty nester, right? I'm going to have both.
Yeah,
girls.
you're only a few weeks away.
Yeah, basically 2 weeks, man. And all of a sudden, and I don't know why, but I was saying to myself, oh, that's right. The next time I go buy burgers, I probably need to just buy 1 pack. And then cue the sad Charlie Brown music. Dun, dun, dun,
See, that's a little thing you probably don't think about. Yeah.
I'm getting in the fetal position now on the floor. And if you just hear weeping and blubbering the entire rest of the hour, that's going to be me right now. Because I'm just, all this, it's something like this. My wife came downstairs today because my office downstairs, her office is upstairs. She comes downstairs and she looks and she goes, it's just going to be you, me, and the dog. And I don't know how I should take this. Okay. Cause that is a minefield right there. Is this I'm glad it's just going to be you there and the dog? Is it just, I've realized the mistakes I've made in my life. It's going to be you, me, and the dog. I don't know. I'm going to go with the latter.
The key is though, she listed you before the dog. So I think that's a win.
But I mean, let's go back to, let's not bury the lead. My office is downstairs. Hers is upstairs. We have yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I know the monkey's paw, I've got the curse on you. So it's what you got stuck with. But, I'm going to be blubbering, man. I am going to be blubbering. You know this, right? I'm not going to be able to hold it together.
So on that Tuesday after Labor Day, we just need nothing but somber.
No, music. And it's actually before Labor Day.
Oh yeah, college. You're right. Yes, yeah.
Thank God we're not broadcasting out at the state fair, because this would be the entire. Come visit the fair. It's so much fun. That would be the entire show.
At least get some good food to eat while you're crying to help with the pain, though. Yeah.
A bucket of Prano Pups, man. The bucket of Prano Pups. Come on. You got to be kidding me. I'd be all over that action. Still be blubbering, but, delicious blubbering. Which, by the way, was my dance name in college. Delicious blubbering, kids. I mean, I had to make the bills pay off, Who doesn't love that show? Okay. Yesterday I made the point about Trump saying that cryptocurrency can now go into 401ks. And I said, boy, that's exactly how they're going to do it. That's how they're going to rip off the retirement accounts of every middle and lower class person that is putting money in, that has the luxury of a job, that they can actually put in some retirement money into their 401k. The way that Trump and his cronies are going to steal that money is with the cryptocurrency, and they're going to rip everyone off, take the money and run, and everyone else. This is, trust me when I say this, Republicans, this is their mindset. How do they get the money away from everyone else and into their pockets? And they're going to do this through cryptocurrency. And I did indeed, as expected, have more than one person go, Matt, it's not the cryptocurrency of before. Cryptocurrency has changed. It's a legitimate thing. Is it? Because there's a story out of the WNBA that begs to differ with this whole thing. A self-described cryptocurrency enthusiast told ESPN that he's part of a group that orchestrated the recent sex toy stunts that have disrupted at least 3 WNBA games in the past 10 days. If you haven't heard, somebody's throwing sex toys onto the court during WNBA games, which is sexist and horrible and god-awful. And these people are laughing and think it's the funniest thing, and they are intentionally making fun of the WNBA players. These are the worst of people. A man who spoke on the condition of anonymity over a video conference on Wednesday said the stunts were meant to market a crypto coin that his online community created. The WNBA and all of its controversy, he said, made the league a logical target. Dear Lord. Logical target. Wow. It was more or less like an opportunistic approach to, what is already trending. Here is already controversy, and how do we intercept some of that attention? Controversy? It's the WNBA, you morons. What do you think? It's 1975? And women playing basketball? I know a lot of WNBA players that would kick your ass, dude. Pretty much all of them. Dear Lord, you pathetic jackasses. The man who uses Lieutenant Dallo Rain as his username on Twitter, of course he does, a nod to the Brad Pitt character from the movie Inglourious Bastards, kept his camera off and refused to give his name or age during the call with ESPN. The group, he said, wants to reclaim the creative and community aspects of the crypto world. We wanted to really make meme coins fun again. On Thursday, a WNBA spokesperson declined to answer ESPN's questions about the group and claimed responsibility or adjustments to arena security. USA Today first reported on the group's claim. The WNBA Players Association Executive Director Terry Jackson told ESPN on Thursday that the Players Union requested an update from the WNBA and was told the league was investigating claims that individuals were being incentivized to carry out the stunts. The man told ESPN that the coin started trading on July 28th, a day before the first sex toy was thrown at a WNBA game. The coin's transaction record on Dex Screener. God, everything about crypto just sounds like, hey, who wants to invest money in a sleazy guy outside of a Russian nightclub? Seriously. You want to be millionaire. You do. Me, love, look, money and girls. You can be like me. That's crypto. That is crypto. Dex Screener is a website that tracks real-time prices of cryptocurrency and confirms that timeline. Posts from the group's Telegram community, which include over 1,000 users, were reviewed by ESPN. They reveal that there was prior knowledge to the first incident between the Atlanta Dream and the Golden State Valkyries on July 29th. A link to the stream of the game was shared on the chat ahead of tip-off, and the community members celebrated their upcoming stunt and posted numerous derogatory comments about the WNBA. We will soon buy the league, a poster wrote under the name stamp of 7:13, then time-stamped at 7:30. Daldo showed a green screen toy meme with the caption, sex toy warrior, I'm cleaning it up a little bit, sex toy warrior practicing his throw. Hours later, the game was postponed in the fourth quarter after a green sex toy was thrown onto the court. Since then, 2 people have been arrested in connection with the sex toy stunts in the 2 cities. Delbert Carver, 23 years old, of Marietta, Georgia. Of course, these are going to be all, 23-year-old douches that basically think, dude, man, this is the way we're going to make money. He was arrested August 1st for allegedly throwing the sex toy onto the court at the end of the Dream's home game against the Phoenix Mercury. According to police records, Carver was detained after trying to flee and confessed to throwing the first sex toy on July 29th as well. He faces counts of disorderly conduct, public indecency, indecent exposure, and criminal trespass. However, the man ESPN spoke to said Carver was not affiliated with the group and was not the thrower of the sex toy on July 29th. He declined to say who did. Carver did not respond to multiple requests for comment. On August 1st, a green sex toy was thrown during the Sky Valkyries game in Chicago. Indiana Fever star Sophie Cunningham addressed the trend that night. Stop throwing the stuff on the court, Cunningham posted. You're going to hurt one of us. According to the man ESPN spoke to, the group planned other incidents Tuesday night in 4 different arenas. An 18-year-old man, of course, Caden Lopez, was arrested at Phoenix Arena, at the Mercury, Connecticut Sun game. Court records say Lopez removed a green sex toy from his sweatshirt pocket, threw it, and hit 2 spectators, including one minor. Jackass. After the toss, he attempted to leave the building, but arena volunteer witnessed the incident, followed Lopez, and tackled him. I'm hoping you did more than tackle this 18-year-old idiot. The man ESPN spoke to provided Lopez's name before it was made public and said Lopez was part of the coordinated stunt. Lopez is charged with misdemeanor, a bunch of 18-year-olds. Because that's when I think of secure occurrences, I think of a bunch of 18 to 24-year-olds throwing sex toys onto the arena of a floor. This gets disturbing. That's already disturbing, but it's worse. WNBA spokesperson declined to answer ESPN's questions about the arrest. Also on Tuesday, a video footage posted on Twitter showed a green sex toy that was tossed to the stands at Barclays Center for the Liberty game against the Dallas Wings, but it failed to make it to the court. A sex toy was thrown onto the court at the Los Angeles game during the Sparks Fever game Tuesday and appeared to hit Cunningham. We are working with the region personnel to identify the individual responsible and ensure appropriate action is taken. Additionally, the man said a sex toy was supposed to be thrown at the Storms game against the Lynx, but the thrower didn't attempt it. The WNBA has issued a statement on Saturday after Carver was arrested. The safety and well-being of everyone in arenas is a top priority of our league. Objects of any kind thrown into the court or in the seating area can be safety risk for players, game officials, and fans. On Thursday, Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve addressed the issue with reporters after practice. This has been going on for centuries, the sexualization of women. This is the latest version of that. It's not funny. These people that are doing this should be held accountable. They are the problem, and we need to take action. According to the tracker on Forbes, the price of the coin, which represents a bold movement in internet culture, giving holders the voice of fun, fearless, fast-growing community, spiked 300% in the last week. There has been a massive increase in Google searches of the meme coin. So you want me to take your product seriously. This is why these people, they're intentionally doing this. You do understand that. They're intentionally trying to drive up the price so they can sell their coin and then get out and make a ton of money. And they're using the WNBA to try to do this. This is a joke. It's a joke. Cryptocurrency is a freaking joke. It's a mobster's Ponzi scheme. And if you're stupid enough to go along with 18 to 24-year-olds throwing sex toys onto the arena floor to think that that's a good investment, you're a moron. And letting these guys into 401ks, well, that's so much for that money. Be like, well, I won't even make that analogy. It's the Matt McNeil Show.
Attention event planners and festival organizers. This is Frank Brown from Minuteman Press Uptown, your union print shop partner for your next event. We're here to check items off your list and make your event the talk of the town. From stunning banners and eye-catching signage to programs, tickets, and name badges. We print everything. Get promotional products at prices that let you load up on merch and fill those swag bags. Make your event unforgettable with Minuteman Uptown. Visit us at mpuptown.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. We know dental anxiety and dental phobia are real. We'll take the time to get to know you and give you what you need to be comfortable at all times. We offer free nitrous oxide laughing gas and have high-tech options to help you feel calm and relaxed during your appointments. We'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been going to Shambot Family Dentistry for years. They get me in last minute when I'm in pain and make regular checkups easy and comfortable.
Shamblat Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblatfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters brings you its most popular show of all time, Grease. You'll hear all your favorite hits from the Broadway musical and the movie. Join the whole gang at Rydell High. We'll sing, we'll dance, we'll bring you back to high school life in the 50s. Poodle skirts, bobby socks, the soda shop, and drive-in movies. Grease, it'll rock your socks off. Order your tickets today. Visit chanhassendt.com.
Overwhelmed trying to make sense of Medicare? As a licensed advisor, I can help you determine your healthcare needs and evaluate your options. I'm Harvey Pearl of Pearl & Company, and I want you to have the peace of mind knowing you have the best coverage available. You deserve an advocate you can trust and coverage you can rely on. And there's no fee, ever. Annual enrollment is October 15th through December 7th. Find me at pearlsofwisdom.com. That's PERLES of wisdom.com. So we can strategize together.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. You're not serious. You're serious. You can't. I don't ever remember the lead economist coming up on like CNBC to talk about currency rates and saying, you know what would really help the currency rates? If we started throwing sex toys onto the ice at NHL games. You know, that would really boost the U.S. currency. Exactly. The entire thing. Cheryl Reeves, the Minnesota Lynx coach, I don't want to take anything away from her because her points are exactly right. I mean, the reason they're doing this at WNBA games is these are a bunch of sexist, jackassian douches who basically need to get their ass kicked. And they think that, hey, the chickie poos need to be put in line. Let's start rating who would you have sex with. You're not having sex with anyone because you're a loser. But that being said, it's just the entire concept of this. If you want to see how broken our society is, it's this. We are, and we might actually be here. We're at the point where basically there's going to be a Netflix show about debase yourself for $20 and just, I'll do this for $20. My God, you would? Yeah. I mean, we are at that point. Lowest common denominator crap, people. Lowest common denominator. 952-946-6205. Hey, by the way, in case you missed it today, apparently Donald Trump declared war on Mexico. Sometimes these headlines, they kind of slip in and out there. Yeah. Well, he didn't necessarily declare war on Mexico, but if he does send troops into Mexico, he's declared war on Mexico. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum has rejected the idea that the U.S. might invade Mexico after news reports suggested Trump had authorized the use of military force targeting drug cartels deemed terrorist organizations in Latin American countries. The United States is not going to come into Mexico with their military, she said during a daily news conference on Friday. We cooperate, we collaborate, but there'll be no invasion. It's off the table, absolutely off the table. He desperately wants to keep the Epstein files off the front page. He desperately wants to. Do you know how real the chance is that Donald Trump is indeed Epstein client number one? They had this whole thing where, and I was talking about this with Pam Bondi, this meeting that they were going to have with J.D. Vance and the chief of staff and Kash Patel and Todd Blanche, and they're going to break out into rooms on how to basically deal with Epstein. You don't bring together emergency cabinet meetings where you basically have asked everyone to take everything off your desk. Your only priority right now is how does Trump defend himself against the Epstein list? You don't do that unless you already know that Donald Trump is, pedophile in chief. like I said, if anything in that report exonerated him, they would have released it on day one. They are desperate because Trump knows if the economy crashes and and the sad part is there's a lot of the Republicans in this country who have officially now said, yes, raping children is not a deal breaker for them, that they will support Trump if they find out, oh, he raped a bunch of children. Well, that's fine with me. They were asking for it. That is where they're at. I mean, what 47% of the Republican Party thinks raping children now is not a deal breaker as far as president goes. 47% of Republicans. Wow. And the other 53% would just stare at the ground and quietly say nothing. They are desperate. They don't want this to break because he knows if this does break, and anyone that's been defending him, which is every single Republican in the party at this point. Oh, I can't wait for when they eventually turn it. Like, I'd always had concerns. Sure, I screamed that every Democrat was a groomer for the last 5 years, and I was quiet for the last year and a half on Trump. But now, in the silence of my heart, I was furious. Yeah, of course. I mean, we all know that. So how far would Trump go? I would, without a doubt, he would invade. I have zero doubt he would send the troops in to invade Mexico. The United States is not going to come into Mexico with their military, she said. It's absolutely off the table. The Mexican president said her government had been informed of the executive order, but insisted that it had nothing to do with the participation of any military or institution in our territory. There is no risk that they will invade our territory. News of Trump's secret directive to the Pentagon was first reported by the Times, which cited people familiar with the matter and noted that the order provides an official basis for the possibility of direct military operations at sea and in foreign soil against cartels. Yeah, and let's face it, these guys aren't going to do the right thing and coordinate with, even if another country wanted to have the United States in on their territory, even if they wanted to do that, they're not going to coordinate with that country. They're just going to go in there, and God help us if all of a sudden 2 of our helicopters are shot down and a foreign military all of a sudden gets a bunch of our guys, captures a bunch of our guys as they're trying to start some kind of cartel. Because then all of a sudden it's, okay, what's going on here? Marco Rubio said the move would enable the U.S. government to use the military to target trafficking organizations. It allows us to now target what they have operating and use other elements of American power, intelligence agencies, the Department of Defense, to target groups that would have an opportunity to do it. We have to start treating them as armed terrorist organizations, not simply drug dealing organizations. Trump has made going to after Latin American drug trafficking organizations a top priority of his administration. In February, the State Department designated 7 organized crime groups as foreign terrorist organizations, including 5 powerful cartels in Mexico. So if you're going to go after them, you're going into Mexico. We are going to, I think we're about to get inundated with an insane amount of conversation about, well, the real big problem here is drugs. The real big problem here is drugs. Because Trump has basically all this stuff. Remember, for the first few months of his administration, all of it was Trump kind of alluding to the Epstein list, saying, we need to protect children. And of course, their whole bigoted anti-transgender movement where it's like, we're just protecting girls. Well, you're not really protecting girls. You're just making sure that they're being abused the way you're okay with, which is through Epstein, not allowing them to be who they are, genetics. But hey, you keep, I mean, I'll just keep leaning back into South Park as they rip you to shreds on that one. So they can't use their, we're just protecting kids crap anymore, because they're not protecting kids. It was all about just the hate of the transgender community and, a dog and pony show. So what are they doing now? Well, it's going to be drugs. And my guess is going to be they're going to find some white suburban girl who got some drugs from somebody with not white skin. And oh my God, Now, if you want to go fight a war in a foreign country, send your own kids. Sacrifice begins at home. Don't make us fight for your cause. It is the Matt McNeil Show.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Hi, Matt McNeil here. You're listening to the best progressive radio in Minnesota. It's AM 950, KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. Even though Auto Technical is a small nonprofit, we have helped more families with transportation than any organization in Minnesota. Since '94, we have reconditioned donated vehicles so they have a higher tax benefit. Call Richard at 612-919-5526, 612-919-5526, or autotech.org.
Hi, I'm Bruce Klopfleisch. Join me every Sunday at 5 p.m. for Politics Matters. We'll talk about how civics, politics, and law affect you by highlighting a different topic each week. On this week's show, we discuss the Republican gerrymandering in Texas, how Doge is costing us billions of dollars, and the horrible July jobs report. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. for Politics Matters with Bruce Klopfleisch to discover why government and civics matter. And podcast the show anytime on your favorite app.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about the joy of live fire cooking. Cooking over a live fire is the oldest and most basic form of cooking.
What's new is in the way fire is handled and its heat is managed.
It's easier to experience and enjoy the smell and taste of food cooked over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs live fire grills, fire pits, and ovens. Let us help you experience the smell, the taste, the fun of cooking with fire.
Pizza was first made and is still best made in an open fire oven. The radiant and conductive heat of a live fire is unmatched for wood roasting and baking artisan breads too.
Come see the many ways you can cook over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies today with a high near 91. Tonight, showers and storms with a low around 74. And Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 85. Looking for a cozy neighborhood bar and restaurant in Minneapolis? Nightingale serves delicious American classics like their famous Nightingale Burger, ginger tamari chicken wings, and more. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with takeout available. Visit nightingalempls.com for details.
Broadcasting in the evenings on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. In Seattle, 1150 AM, KKNW. And, of course, in Minneapolis, St. Paul on AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota. It is the Matt McNeil Show on your Friday. I hope you have a good weekend no matter what you're up to. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. By the way, this studio is hot, Brett. What is going on? Is this the aliens finally cooking me?
That or you're getting fired up, or
well, I mean, my blood pressure is as usual.
I mean,
normal.
Rightfully so in the last
Lava.
segment, though. I mean, talking about us invading Mexico.
Heaven forbid, yes. No, I mean, I got news for you. My blood pressure is like a dimmer switch at this point. It's on and up all the time. No, I'm wondering, okay, we talk about Greg Bakken, who filled in for me, of course, Ghost Box Radio, which is on the mothership station, AM 950 at 10 o'clock at night Central Time. Listen to it. It's great stuff. Bigfoot, aliens, ghosts, good stuff like that. Is this the aliens cooking me? I mean, because remember there was that big 200-kilometer wide ship or rock or whatever it is that they say they don't quite know what it is, but it's coming into our solar system. I mean, I would look at me and say, hey, delicious, serve them on rye with some dipping sauce. Am I being cooked right now?
We just did receive a message saying, please turn.
Okay. All right. All right. Oh, even rotisserie. Okay.
Yeah.
That's like, well, I haven't faced this wall in a while. So, all right, that's going to be good. Just, Okay, let me say this. Alien invaders. Before you eat me, have you been to Chicago? The food there's fantastic, man. Seriously, I got like 9 or 10 solid recommendations. You won't ever have the lusting and salivating for human meat anymore if you go over there and try some of those deep dish pizzas or a Super Dog. Super Dog is fantastic. Go to Chicago, go to get a Super Dog. There you go. You're welcome. If you want dessert, you're a little peckish. Sure, come on over. I like to play, but no, stop eating me. Stop warming me up. This studio is hot. I don't have any other. I mean, I'm not drunk right now. Well, am I? No, I'm not. It just is. I'm warming up, man.
Yeah, it's warm.
Are you cooking me? What are you? Thanks, Ed Gein. Thanks for stopping on by. Wisconsin's brightest.
What do you think Greg and Adam are doing standing behind me by the?
I noticed they were wearing bibs. They're holding a fork and a knife in each hand, like they're the road runner, the coyote looking at the road runner at this point. All right, well, all right, fine. I will baste myself if need be. All right, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Speaking of basting yourself, there you go. A decision by the self-basting administration. You thought it was only for turkeys at Thanksgiving. No. These guys baste themselves every day. A decision by the Department of Justice officials to rush to the defense of a senior advisor. This next segment is just basically going to be, you're standing up for this? Really? The decision by the Department of Justice officers to rush to the defense of a senior advisor who attended the January 6th insurrection urged fellow riders to kill Capitol police officers left the panel on MSNBC this morning flabbergasted. Morning Joe reported that the DOJ had hired and placed Jared Wise, who screamed at police officers, calling them Nazi and Gestapo, and then claiming, kill them. Scarborough called the DOJ's response to the controversy very bizarre. As was noted, the DOJ currently responded to inquiries about Wise with, Jared Wise is a valued member of the Justice Department, and we appreciate his contributions to our team. Oh, God. Jesus, seriously. This is very bizarre coming from a political party holding up such a person that is calling for the killing of cops. And if you haven't seen the video, yeah, he's like, kill them about the cops, man. And he's in the Department of Justice right now. Very bizarre that he's working on a preeminent law enforcement agency in America for a president and a party who claim to be supporting law enforcement officers and claiming it's the liberals that don't support law enforcement officials. What can you tell us about this? This person who at the most heated time in the January 6th was calling for the killing of law enforcement officials. This was Ken Delian. He talked to him. He responded, it's mind-boggling. I will say that Mr. Wise did express contrition of those comments during his trial, which was cut short when Trump ended all the prosecutions of January 6 defendants and pardoned them all. But I think what we're seeing here is the consequence of his administration that has rewritten history, written the history of January 6th. And as Donald Trump pardoned all the defendants, including those who assaulted officers, and is now going about firing FBI agents who's worked on those cases and FBI superiors, and then hiring people who are part of the riot. Yeah, they're doing that because reasons. You can't. I mentioned with the whole thing with Mexico that this is Trump desperately trying to get the Epstein files off the list. Republicans you guys sit there and you talk about all these things for decades. Republicans wrap themselves in this argument of, we're the ones who support law enforcement, not you stinking liberals. That's you. That was you over and over and over and over again. And here we are. And you guys attacked law enforcement. And your response is, well, not them. And I don't know how you can be so horrible of human beings like that. I mean, how you can sit there. It's one thing to make the lie up that no one on the left supports law enforcement. That's just a comical lie. But then it's that when you basically are the ones who are trying to kill cops, well, that was okay. That was justified. That was all right. You guys, for 5 years now, anytime a Democrat said anything, you screamed groomer or pedo. And now you're confronted by the fact that Donald Trump is the chief pedo and the chief groomer. And you're like, oh, it's okay to rape kids. Whoever said raping kids was, we used to rape kids all the time. Yeah. You guys are broken, man. You are broken. This, of course, if we're going to talk about defending people, we have to go with Pete Hegseth. Holy God. If you did not see this interview, a CNN of his pastor, that is just I want to make sure we understand. This is the Secretary of Defense. There are a lot of women who are bravely fighting for this country right now, no matter what the branch is. There are plenty of women who support the military in government official jobs. There are plenty of women who are the support at home, the family members who help take care of the families of our soldiers. There are women infused within every part of the military. And the Secretary of Defense seems to feel as if those chickie poos should go home and get him a beer. At least his associations do. In a short time as the U.S. Secretary of Defense, the drunk Pete Hegseth has tested the boundaries on the separation between church and state at the Pentagon. Thursday night, he took things a step further by promoting an interview with Christian nationalist pastor Doug Wilson, the leader of the church Hegseth follows, who has called for America to become a Christian nation and the world a Christian one. All of Christ for all of life, Hegseth posted on social media from an account marked with a gray check mark that says the account was verified as the affiliate of the Department of Defense on Twitter. Wow. The post accompanied a CNN interview of Pastor Wilson. CNN billed the segment as Christian nationalist pastor with ties to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Women are the kind of people that people come out of, Wilson unapologetically told CNN. I can literally hear Jesus say, stop it. Stop talking. Stop it. This clown car. You're doing it wrong, sir. No, you're doing it wrong. You see, you've got unresolved personal issues about subjugating women, which you probably need to talk to a counselor about. But what you probably shouldn't do is go grab a Bible and now say, this is what Jesus wants me to do, because Jesus doesn't want you to do that. Okay? It doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically. I'm just getting out of the way. I'm reading this. I'm just reading what this jackass said. Yeah. It doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically. The wife and mother, who is the chief executive of his home, is entrusted with 3 or 4 or 5 eternal souls. Wilson also believes women should not have certain leadership roles and should not be allowed to vote. This is the priest. This is the spiritual leader of the drunk Pete Hegseth. Okay, is there any doubt in my mind? I watched my wife give birth to 3 children. I can tell you, it's going to sting a little bit. Anyone bet that this clown, if he gets a splinter, is blubbering about, it hurts so bad, I got a splinter. The cowardly freaking lion over there. Some woman's going to come over here. Yeah, shut up, clown car. Let me get that out of there for you. At least you didn't have a breech birth and it was, it's at least. Yeah, This is one of those cases where I'm a dude. I'm not trying to white knight this stuff. This guy's an ass. The problem is so few people are going to give women the opportunity to scream at this guy as they should, or condemn him, or condemn the drunk Pete Hegseth, because the national news media, well, they love the scamper and antics of Trump. But I think we should be able to condemn this sort of talk. That's just me. Once again, where was I? That's right. Wilson also believes women should not have certain leadership roles and should not be allowed to vote. Hegseth has brought his religious worldview to the Defense Department, literally holding and hosting a specifically Christian monthly prayer meeting during work hours inside the Pentagon. During the first meeting, called Secretary of Defense Christian Prayer and Worship Service, an open bar. No, I added the open bar. Hegseth's pastor from Tennessee, Brooks Potiger, was the main speaker. The Times also reported the service as part of an increasing infusion of overt Christian evangelization of the official government events during Trump's second term. In their interview with Pastor Wilson, CNN reported Wilson is part of the broader Christian nationalist movement making inroads with the Trump administration, with the newly created Faith Office led by evangelical pastor Paula White Cain and people seen right out to the White House entrance praying and speaking in tongues. Are they throwing snakes around? Are we doing that? Critics obviously expressed concern and outrage over Secretary Hegseth's post. Attorney Barbara Comstock, a Republican and former U.S. Congresswoman, this is a Republican, but once again, former Republican U.S. Congressperson, which means now she'll talk, because I guarantee you all the women that are in the Republican Party, they're not going to say a damn word to, even though this guy has said you shouldn't hold your leadership position or you shouldn't be able to vote, they're just going to bite their tongues because Republicans. Not unnoticed that Pete Hegseth, the most unqualified and insecure Secretary of Defense, has retweeted this piece that includes extremist men advocating that the right to vote be taken away from women and women must submit to men, apparently even if they are cheaters. This is Hegseth's worldview. Brandon Wolf, National Press Secretary for the Human Rights Campaign. There's a United States Secretary of Defense seemingly endorsing the call to repeal the 19th Amendment and an end to women voting. Not surprising when you consider his very well-documented views. It's incredibly disturbing that Pete Hegseth attends a church and openly praises its leadership, which advocates for repealing women's rights to vote and criminalizing homosexuality. If you want to live in an authoritarian, theocratic state, move to the Middle East. I hear it's lovely there, said journalist Brad Palumbo. As an American Jew, I do not feel comfortable with the Secretary of Defense post messages like this. America is a majority Christian country. The America I want to live in is not explicitly Christian country. Yep. Gosh, shame more people didn't vote. All right. We'll take a break, come back. It's the Matt McNeil Show.
This is Mitch, owner of Junk Masters. Feeling overwhelmed by clutter? Spring's the perfect time to reclaim your space and peace of mind. Renting a dumpster is costly, and it all ends up in the landfill. Just show us what goes. We give usable items a second life by donating them. No calling all over town trying to figure out who takes what. We do the legwork for you. Easy, cost-effective, and local. There's no obligation. Visit junkmastersmn.com today.
The place for live music is the Park Tavern. Live music takes over the Park Tavern's dog-friendly patio. Head over on Tuesday, August 12th, it's Colby Straka. Wednesday, August 13th, it's Bryce Heggie. And on Thursday, August 14th, it's American Bootleg. Music runs from 5:30 to 8 p.m. and reservations for groups of 8 or more are recommended. And the Park Tavern offers private and semi-private spaces for small and large groups with no room fees and no minimum spending requirements. On Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park, outdoor live music is on at the Park Tavern.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. And we'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
Shamblat Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblatfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. Wow. I mean, in this crazy right-wing authoritarian world we're in right now, I do find it very hard to believe that they would that any movement like that, you'd have to repeal it through a constitutional amendment. And I just don't even think the Republicans have the guts to try to go into their own states and try to convince their voters, this is something we need to do. If you did, you would see, my guess is if this did happen, 85% of the Republican politicians in office would resign and would retire and not run for re-election. They would know that their careers would be over. The scary part would be how many Republican women would vote to repeal the 19th Amendment. I guarantee you a lot of them would. That is scary. Two other quick little updates here before we get to the end of the show, or this hour, I should say. We've got a big problem with tourism right now, and we haven't talked about this. Now, the original estimated losses on tourism were somewhere around $12 to $15 billion this year. Right now, if this trend continues, we're going to lose $29 billion in tourism in the United States this year. Of course, obviously, the Canadians are not coming down here nearly as much as they were. That is a dramatic decrease. And there are a lot of communities that actually depended on Canadian tourism dollars, that they were popular with Canadians. They're going other places right now. And a lot of other countries are getting into Canada and say, hey, don't go to America, come down here. And they're basically marketing it as that. You don't have to go to the America, you can come to our place. And so, that's hurting us. But it's not just Canadians, it's the world is just not coming here now. And there are dramatic decreases in the amount of tourists in a lot of the big touristy areas. Vegas has been down dramatically. Florida has been down dramatically. Cape Cod and Martha's Vineyard are down dramatically. New York City is down. Los Angeles is down. All these areas, all these high tourism areas, they're seeing record drops, the worst years they've ever seen as far as tourism goes. And once again, $29 billion, and that's not coming back. And also there is a movement right now to strip both the World Cup and the Olympics from the United States with Trump and his authoritarian Gestapo like ICE. They do not want to. Can you imagine what would happen if ICE took like a country's athlete that had all the proper paperwork and here's legally and locked them into alligator Alcatraz and said, we have no idea where they're at. We're not going to release them even if we had them. Yeah, that's a growing movement, and that is not getting quieter. That's getting louder and louder and louder. And it should also be noted when you're talking about this $29 billion. One of the things I want to make sure I say is that's It's different in tourism versus, say, you are an accountant or you make semiconductors or whatever it is. Most of the tourism jobs are low-paying jobs, tip-infused jobs. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out if people aren't coming there, they're not making the tips. And in a lot of god-awful conservative states, they pay a basic, what is it? Oklahoma pays like $3 an hour and say, but you're a tip job, so you keep your tips. Well, if people aren't coming and you're getting paid this wage, then you're just getting paid $3 an hour. That is a major economic problem. And that's something that has to be addressed at some point. The other thing that I want to make sure I mention this is once again, there's a lot of Republicans that Joe Biden is not trying to help us. And I guarantee you that this is what's about to happen here is going to hurt a lot of people who scream that Joe Biden had abandoned them. And I don't know what you say to these people outside of you. You get what you ask for. Thousands of people on federal disability benefits got a few extra $100 per month thanks to President Biden. But now, thanks to Trump, it looks like that extra cash may go away. Trump has given notice that his plans are to rescind the change finalized last year, allowing more supplemental security income beneficiaries to receive full benefits even if they live with someone who helps them with food or shelter. Supplemental security income, often known as SSI or disability, offers a maximum benefit of just under $967 per month, with a third taken away for recipients receiving in-kind support and maintenance, such as help with groceries or rent from a roommate or a family member. The Biden administration finalized a rule last year saying it wouldn't count in-kind support against SSI recipients if other people in the household were receiving federal food benefits. A change the administration said would grant full benefits to nearly 300,000 SSI recipients and make another 100,000 people newly eligible for the program. There you go. The Trump administration proposal to change the rule would harm hundreds of thousands of the nation's lowest income people, said Kathy Roming and Devin O'Connor, policy analyst with the Liberal Center for the Budget and Policy Priorities, in a blog post on Thursday. This is literally taking money out of the neediest people's hands. This is taking food out of the neediest people's hands. He just spent $10 million on a golf trip to Scotland. They want to build a nuclear reactor on the moon. They spend money like it's no tomorrow in that administration when it's a cause that they like. And they spend it with glee. But it's a few $100 going to the neediest people. That's wasting my taxpayer dollars. And I mean, I guess maybe if I tag this with the last segment story about the way the guy has, truly bastardized Christianity into this anti-woman haters club. This is, I mean, I could make the point. It's like, if you're a Christian, as every Republican say they're the most Christian-y Christians that ever Christianed. If you are, then the Gospel of Matthew should mean something to you. Feed the hungry, take care of the sick, shelter the homeless, welcome in strangers. That should mean something. And it doesn't mean a damn thing to any of you people anymore. It means nothing. Direct teachings of Jesus mean nothing to you anymore. But hey, that chickie poo needs to stop working and get me a beer and rub my feet, or else I'll start smacking her around. Well, Gary, if you think that that's good Christian doctrine, I don't know what to do with you. But the reality is this is just hurting people for hurting people's sake. They claim to be Christian. They're not Christian. They claim to be for the police. They're not for the police. They claim to be for protecting kids. They clearly are not for protecting kids. They are the Republican Party, and they are as horrible as ever. Chicago, Seattle. Try to have a good weekend. I'll be back with you Monday. Minneapolis, St. Paul, Hour 2 up next.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about outdoor fires. Sitting around a fire is the oldest, most basic form of human activity.
What's new is in the way fire is burned. We can show you how to burn cleaner with a lot less smoke.
The radiant heat and light from an open fire is unmatched. It kindles our spirits and connects us to the outdoors. And now it's easier to experience and enjoy.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs wood and gas burning fire pits and fireplaces. Let us help you experience an outdoor fire without all the smoke.
Come see the many ways you can enjoy a fire outdoors.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
I'm standing up for the middle class. Tom Hartman here on the Progressive Voice of Minnesota, AM 950, KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. President Trump says he will meet very shortly with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
I think we're getting very close, and we're going to be announcing later on we're going to have a meeting with Russia. We'll start off with Russia, and we'll announce a location.
He did not mention a specific date and no indication Ukraine's president will participate. As for what a peace deal might entail,
you're looking at territory that's been fought over for 3.5 years with, a lot of Russians have died, a lot of Ukrainians have died. So we're looking at that, but we're actually looking to get some back and some swapping. It's complicated.
NASA says astronaut James Lovell has died. He commanded Apollo 13, and Ed Donahue reports helped turn a failed moon mission into a triumph of on-the-fly engineering.
Lovell spoke to the AP in 1994.
I didn't realize the effect of this flight on the people of the world. Some 55 countries offered recovery assistance, even countries like Paraguay and Czechoslovakia. They don't even have coastlines.
Lovell flew 4 times, Gemini 7, Gemini 12, Apollo 8, and Apollo 13. The Apollo 8 crew of Lovell, Frank Borman, and William Anders was the first to leave Earth's orbit and the first to fly and circle the moon. Lovell read from the Book of Genesis as Apollo 8 orbited the moon.
And the morning was the first day. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament.
Lovell was 97. I'm Ed Donahue.
Stocks closed out a winning week with more gains. The Dow rose 207 points, or 0.5%. The S&P gained 0.8% on the day, while the Nasdaq added close to 1%. Firefighters are reporting good progress in their battle against the Canyon Fire in the mountainous area north of Los Angeles. The fire remains uncontained, but its growth has slowed. This is AP News.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Super Sale and get 40% off paints and stains August 8th through the 14th. With prices starting at $29.39, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Protect your home and auto by bundling them with Progressive, and you'll have a little less to worry about. But we know you'll find other things to worry about. Like that text you just got from your boss. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Oh, hey, call me when you get a sec. Yeah, this is bad. Oh, well, at least you protected your home and auto with Progressive, so you don't have to worry about that. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our local small businesses. Do you want more leads, more store traffic, more customers? Thousands of local businesses, just like yours, count on Minuteman Uptown to drive sales. We make your business stand out and show out. We print everything from signage, promotions, and direct marketing. We connect you to the community. Choose Minuteman Uptown because we share your values and we are a proud union shop. Contact us today at mpuptown.com.
This is Alex Knorr from Buzz Cut Mowing, a young, hardworking entrepreneur serving the Southwest Metro with affordable lawn care. I take the hard work off your plate with weekly mowing. I also offer leaf cleanups, aeration, dethatching, tree trimming, and mulch installation. I'll keep your lawn beautiful so you can enjoy your weekends with the people who matter most. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com. That's buzzcutmowingmn.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies today with a high near 91. Tonight, showers and storms with a low around 74. And Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 85. Looking for a cozy neighborhood bar and restaurant in Minneapolis? Nightingale serves delicious American classics like their famous Nightingale Burger, ginger tamari chicken wings, and more. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with takeout available. Visit nightingalempls.com for details.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hour number 2 of the show here on your Friday. Michael Broadcorp's coming by. That's right, Vikings start in, so I'm bringing my Vikings guy back in. We're going to talk about that. But this is going to be a fun hour. I'm going to have a fun here. One of my favorite people is Anita Gall. She is, of course, our Democratic strategist from rural Minnesota.
Is that my official title
Well,
now?
what is your official title now?
I don't have an official title.
Grand Poobah of Western Minnesota.
Sounds so grand. I'm really not.
You've run for office. You've been a leader in the Democratic Party out there. You're also one of my favorite people to talk with, just because it's great for us to kind of catch up here and find out how things are going out in rural Minnesota. Because let's face it, sometimes people get their faces down into these big bowls of pho and they forget about they're looking around the rest of the state.
Speaking of that, I was at a conference out in St. Paul yesterday, and 2 people who asked me, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Marshall." They just looked at me blankly and they said, "Where is that?"
Really?
So once you get west of Mankato, you Metro people just have no idea what's out there.
I was out there, and I tried to.
Fair.
I did go out there. As a matter of fact, I gave her a preview of the upcoming calendar. I gave you a preview, and I was out. I went out and visited Pipestone and Blue Mound. And so I want to start off with something here, because as going out there, and I want to encourage everyone, go out there and visit there, because Pipestone National Monument, first of all, is fantastic. It is a very good sight to see, and a very good appreciation of the religious narrative of the Native American tribes with the pipe. And it just is wonderful how they've set that up there. Blue Mound is a magnificent park. There's like 3 or 4 other ones that are out there. The Edge of the Prairie one, I didn't get out to that one.
Touch the Sky Prairie?
Yeah.
Okay, you got to come back, because the Star Tribune just recently said it's one of the top views in Minnesota.
It is.
So I expect you back in Southwest Minnesota real soon.
Well, I will, for this reason. Okay, so I was in Marshall, I was in Pipestone, I was in Laverne. All right, went through all 3 of them. They're all cute. Marshall was cute. I mean, it was. I have lived in small town America. I'm in Marshall. It's like, wow, this is vibrant. There's people are out, and it was summertime. There was a lot of activity. It was a Saturday. It looked like fun. Pipestone, not only fantastic with monument there, but also another cute town. Rico's Tacos, by the way. Rico's Tacos. Holy cow! If that was in this metro area, they have a line around the block every day.
Really? I haven't been there. They're fairly new.
Al Pastor. Go get the Al Pastor tacos. They're amazing. And their spicy sauce is not to be messed with. And then Laverne, when we finished up at Blue Mound, we went down, and Laverne looked cute. And I'm like, these towns, I mean, it is nice to go out there into rural America, where you go to a lot of towns sometimes, and what used to be 20 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 stores, is now just a gas station and a co-op, and that's it. And to go through 3 towns on the very western side of the state and be able to say, wow, I mean, if I was a young couple and we were looking for an affordable place to live, and I had one of those jobs that kind of could go into any community, in a heartbeat, I'd look at Marshall. In a heartbeat, I'd look at Laverne. It's nice out there.
They are, though. I agree. Those 3 towns, I mean, and they all are county seats.
Yeah.
So that does help. I mean, if you go out to the smaller towns around, that's not always the same story.
Yeah.
But there are, for example, Marshall, where I live, there's been investment in the past couple years.
We have a college too, right?
Right. We have a college, which always helps. Schwann's is there, which helps. Ralco, Running's headquarters is there. And even, we've been investing in our town. We created a little park. We've done some Red Baron Arena is fairly new. The ice arena, we're getting a new aquatic complex under construction.
Those are nice.
When
I went down to Whitewater, there was the town we went in to get ice cream. Afterwards, they had a hoot of an aquatics complex, and I'm like, that makes a town like this. It makes it very livable.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I saw that park with the big colorful M out there.
Yes,
very nice. Mm-hmm. That is a spectacular park. Whoever was behind that, a lot of kudos to them.
Yes, Independence Park is lovely, and that M is a local artist created that, and that's fair. Oh, I'd say that's within the last 5 years. But yeah, we have downtown murals, local artists draw murals on the walls. So we've been investing in our community, and it shows. Taxpayer money at work makes things better, makes our quality of life so much better.
I'm going to bring this up because I'm glad you said it like that. You are pretty close to South Dakota. You are, you're not that far away. It's not like the Dakotas are, Mad Max apocalypse zone. They're not bad. But I've been in rural South Dakota. I have been in rural North Dakota, even in county seats. They don't look like Marshall. They don't look like Laverne. They don't look like Pipestone. Now, Pipestone has the National Monument there, so there is also a draw there. But it's a very different vibe over there. With the locals, and I know you run more conservative out there. There has to be some awareness that yes, we're in Minnesota, and yes, it might be more taxing, and yes, might have to deal with more Democrats here, but we see what's across the border.
And they like it.
They do. They like
There's
it.
actually, I believe, one of the legislators from Congressional District 7, actually, I think either this session or the one before, introduced a bill or at least floated the idea of ceding CD7 to South Dakota.
Well, no, they tried
joining it
no,
or something like that.
They did that until they realized, okay, and by the way, most of the Metro was on board with that because
you're probably good riddance.
Well, no,
you rubes.
our tax dollars, so much of our tax dollars goes out to these counties. If all of a sudden we were to lose that, we all of a sudden see a massive increase of tax dollars locally, and they wouldn't. And when he introduced that, and it was funny because a lot of the city managers said, "What are you doing? Shut up, shut up, shut up. Stop talking."
Yeah, I think a lot of greater Minnesotans don't realize that the cities subsidize us.
Yeah.
There's, I think, a general misconception that we subsidize the cities. Because we got to fund the light rail, and all this money gets poured into cities' infrastructure, and it's actually the other way around.
Well, you have every once in a while and a fool of a Republican that will float this idea, and they're doing it for Twitter clicks. They're doing it because the second, even if they're serious, everyone's like, no, shut up. We like that. We like this setup here.
We need the Metro tax dollars.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think Sioux Falls and Rapid City are going to offset your money there. No. I mean, actually, we talked about it. I think your education budgets in every one of your school districts out there was going to be cut between 35 and 45% if you guys decided to go into South Dakota. So bon voyage. Good luck. That was that alone.
Right. And I think South Dakota ranks like in the bottom 10% for teacher pay.
I think it's actually 49 or 50.
49 or 50. Yeah, it is so low. I know a lot of people, if they can get a job teaching in Minnesota, they're coming on over.
But there has to be some level of people are like, yeah, you know what? I'm good in Marshall. I'm good in Minnesota. I'm good on this side of the border. I mean, there's got to be a lot of people in those communities because you don't have communities that are that nice without people having pride in said community. And I think for you, I mean, there is that window that we don't get. I mean, we get Wisconsin, but
I'm sorry.
We get Wisconsin. I got two girls about to go down to Madison, but we get Wisconsin on this side, but we don't. I mean, there is a stark difference on that line. And I do believe even a lot of Republicans look around like, yeah, you know what? I might not like the Twin Cities metro area, but I'm okay with it being here.
I don't know. I think there's just a lot of denial. I think they get people are used to the Minnesota level of living, but somehow think if we paid less in taxes, we could still have that.
Oh yeah, sure. Good luck. It's like the guy that moved to Russia. Yeah. Is like, I want my freedom out here, and then I immediately was like, we need to talk to you about your freedom of speech.
You are going to be drafted into our army.
You don't speak until we tell you to. That's how our freedom of speech works. How are things out there? Obviously, we hear a lot about the raids. The ICE raids out there. When I was out there, I mean, it was a Saturday, but I saw, the documented, undocumented farm laborers. I mean, there is a tremendous amount of Hispanic workers that are working out there on these operations, farms, hog lots. There are some guys that are they must be working for a company that maintains mechanical machines and stuff like that on hog lots, and they must be a specialty group. And so you saw a lot of these people out there. have there been raids? I mean, most of the country does seem to, in rural America, there does seem to be a decrease in the amount of undocumented workers that have been there to help support these ag sector jobs.
Honestly, I have not heard of any large scale raids. You know, we have a lot of meat processing
Yes.
plants. There's Jennie-O in Wilmer. There's
Yeah.
Turkey Valley in Marshall. There's JBS in Worthington, a
Yeah.
huge one. I have not heard of any massive raids happening. I have heard through a friend in Worthington that there were household checks, like child checks going, and then there were ICE agents going door to door to check if there were any, unsupervised children, and they were warning people, don't open the door, don't open the door. But I haven't heard of any massive raids on dairy operations, hog confinements, or in any of the meat packing plants. But you do kind of wonder if that's just, as the need to fill these quotas that we hear
Yeah.
about become more and more pressing, is it just a matter of time before they come out of the large urban areas
Well, they're
and
gonna have to.
start raiding smaller communities?
They're going to have to if they're going to maintain that number that Stephen Miller wants to. And you talk about Worthington. If you drive 90 on Worthington, all of a sudden all the billboards are in Spanish. It tells you the impact of the Hispanic community in that community alone, which they are 100% on board with. And I think most of those communities are, especially these people that have come up for 20, 30 years to work some of these fields. These are not workers. These are not unwelcome people. These are friends who have been, hey, we're back. Oh, the kids look great. Oh, come on out.
Do you know the Worthington School District is 70% non-white?
Yeah. It's.
I mean, they are the lifeblood. If you are talking about towns that are vibrant, go to Worthington. Go to Worthington's downtown. You will just see. You can't hardly find a parking spot. I was just there the other week. I'm like, I can't find a parking spot.
I was stunned at how, because I was out in Worthington. Gosh, last time I was out in Worthington probably was 15 years ago. And since that time, just the amount of growth that I've seen in Worthington, I'm like, well, to see that, I'm like I said, I kind of skipped by it, but to see that's incredibly encouraging as well. We're not really near Sioux Falls, not really, and you're not really near any other major cities, and so to be able to grow, this is a good thing. I have to admit though, I read an interesting article from the Wisconsin Dairy Association that said that a raid in Chicago, even if we're 200, 300 miles away, is actually going to cost us 10% of our workforce. There's got to be part of that workforce that's just saying enough is enough. I'm not going to stick around here for this.
One would think so. I mean, I know a lot of people are scared.
Mhm.
Like, I hear that a lot. They don't go out. Local groceries, the ethnic grocery stores, people are just afraid to come out. I mean, and you would be too if you thought somebody in a van with a mask on could just jump out of the van and just take you, whether you have papers or not. So I sense a lot of fear under the surface that something might happen at any time. And I know people are, always, there's, ICE reporting phone numbers where if you see them. So I know people are connected and have those numbers ready, because there's this feeling of like, when is it going to happen here?
Yeah. What is you obviously pay attention to politics. What is the dichotomy of the Republicans? Because I know there's a lot of Republicans that are like, yeah, well, I was wanting you to go raid the inner cities. I didn't want you to come out here. But at the same time, as you said, there are people who have the phone number next to their phone ready to call. I saw somebody that either had a good tan or was not from here. And, kind of one of those things. Has there been vocal discourse between Republicans out there in regards to this, considering the clear economic advantages of the undocumented worker in these areas?
There's a sense so I'm going to be honest, I'm not always plugged into more conservative silos.
And
discourse,
good for you.
Right?
And good
we all sort of end up in our own silos. But I'm hearing a couple of things. Some, there are people who are they're just cheering. Yeah! Alligator, Alcatraz, that's awesome. This is exactly what I voted for. Round up those criminals. Get them off the streets.
Wow.
They don't, there are people who are genuinely happy to see this. On the other hand, I feel like a lot of people in the agricultural community felt like, well, they're not going to do it to us, right? They're not going to raid our dairy operations. Like, somehow we're gonna get an exemption or something.
Yeah.
So there's that feeling like the people who deserve it, yeah, they're gonna get it. But our people, I think there's gonna be an exemption for them.
Well, good luck with that. Yeah. You are going. I'll let it be a surprise.
And,
you know?
and to be honest, I feel in the rural community and within the agriculture community, in particular, there's this feeling of I voted for Trump because I trust that under him things are going to work out for us. Like even things look a little. I'm not sure about right now, but I trust that he's a good businessman. He knows the art of the deal.
Oh,
And in
Lord.
the end, I just gotta hold on there, and things are gonna work out because in the end, it's gonna be better.
I'm going to talk about that because there was a Star Tribune story today I want to mention about that. But I always find it funny when I was up when one of the first raids they did in the state was they took roofers off a house in winter in Duluth. And the first thing when you talk about these people that are cheering it, it's like, okay, there you go. Up you go. Start roofing in winter in Duluth. That's the job you demanded.
Right. You said immigrants are taking your jobs.
Oh, I didn't mean that job. Well, that's, but you see, is now all of a sudden you want to use a scalpel when you decided to use a sledgehammer. Well, grab your ladder and get up there with your hammer. Anita Gall is joining us talking about the life in rural Minnesota, a good Democrat out there that's fighting the good fight. And I'm so glad. God, I'm glad to see you here. We'll take a break. Come on back. And we'll talk a little bit more about things out there because I do want to touch on that story, the Star Tribune today, about farmers needing financial relief and calling the state in to deal with the banks. We'll talk about that. It is the Matt McNeil Show here on your Friday.
Hey, this is Patrick for Zero Res. Did you know that August is Pet Appreciation Month? Zero Res is safe for all pets with no harsh soaps or chemicals in their cleaning products. If you have a pet like I do, you know they like to leave little bits of themselves around the house, whether that's fur or dander or worse, and you should call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to get things back in shape in your house. Carpet, tile, hardwood, rugs, upholstery, air ducts, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. If you haven't tried out Zero Res or it's been months since your last deep clean, then now is the time to call. Right now you can get your entire home Zero Resified from Minnesota's ultimate carpet cleaner and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $149. Take 15% off pet odor treatments and 50% off an air duct cleaning. Schedule your appointment today at ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 9520-RES and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Hi, this is Laura with Food Freedom Radio, and I invite you to discover 2 local grocery stores with a global fare. Market Fresh, south of Rosedale, carries fresh vegetables, quality meats, seafood, and a wide variety of grocery staples, all in a welcoming store. Shanghai Wholesale Market is in the St. Paul Midway area, and it's a food warehouse open to the public. Shanghai Wholesale carries more than 500 types of noodles. And frankly, it's time for Minnesotans to learn that pasta is a little bit more than spaghetti noodles and tuna casserole. There's sweet potato, bean, rice, fresh, frozen, rye. It's a paradise for those seeking gluten-free pasta. Also, both Market Fresh and Shanghai Wholesale Market seek to buy local, so you can look for local quail eggs, unique cheeses, and Minnesota-made tofu. Open the door to food abundance. Discover Market Fresh, your local Asian food store just south of Rosedale, and Shanghai Wholesale Market, your local international food warehouse north of Menards in the St. Paul Midway area.
Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. Native culture is alive and thriving at the Minnesota State Fair. The Native Roots Trading Post is back at the West End Market where you can support Indigenous artists and makers. And don't miss the Native Pride dancers performing on the Summit stage at the Bazaar August 31st and September 1st. From music and art to food and storytelling, Native culture is everywhere at the State Fair. Tickets are just $17 through August 20th at mnstatefair.org.
Hey, it's Mitch, owner of Junk Masters, your local independently owned junk removal team. We are not a franchise, and that means personalized service you can count on. Spring's the season for cleaning out the things you're ready to let go of. Whether it's one item or a full property cleanout, we handle it all, residential or commercial. You just show us what goes. With same-day service, upfront, no-obligation pricing, and a landfill diversion program that prioritizes donating, recycling, and reuse. Visit junkmastersmn.com to learn more.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. Anita Gall is joining us, a former DFL candidate out in Western Minnesota, of course, DFL leader out in Western Minnesota, and just an absolutely outstanding human being as well. okay, so you and I, there's a story that was in the Star Tribune, and it basically has to do with Minnesota farmers are seeking state aid as the foreclosure crisis looms. There's a program that we have in the state. It is the Extension's Farmer Lender Mediation Program, so that if you're in a position to where you are on the verge of losing your farm because of financial reasons, this was something that was started in the 80s. A farmer can go to the state and appeal to them to mediate, to where the bank has to sit down and try to work out some sort of solution on this. This is not someone who's starting to have trouble with their finances. These are the people that are basically on the verge of losing their farm. This is the paragraph, and I showed you this. In June of this year, 197 farmers filed notice for help from the Extension Farmer Lender Mediation Program. July was even worse, 306 notifications, a fourfold increase over the same month last year. That is 500 farms in our ag sector right now that are in 2 months. We haven't gotten July's numbers. We don't know what August numbers are going to come in at. We know that soybeans are $2 less per bushel than they were last year. Corn is abundant, but at $4 a bushel, it's hard to break even on that thing. This is, you and I remember the 1980s. The 1980s and the farm crisis out there, that wiped out so many farms. It was ugly. You went through that.
I was a farm kid, and we did not lose our farm, but as a little kid, your parents don't tell you how bad things are. But when you're eating government cheese and government peanut butter, and things have to be bad for my parents to admit to go get government handouts, as they would view it. So I know things were bad. They'd never let me know how bad, but fortunately my father had not borrowed an extensive amount, and so was able to hold on to the farm, which was within the past 7 years was passed on to my brother. So it's still in the family, and he's still holding on. So, but the 1980s, I mean, neighbors tried to commit suicide.
Yeah.
I mean, they got their farm sold on auction, and to see your farm sold on auction is not just I'm losing my livelihood, it's also a blow to who you are, because your identity is wrapped up in the land. Your identity is as a farmer, and you probably had it handed down to you from your father or maybe even your grandfather, and you feel like such a failure, like I'm the one who lost the farm.
The system cost you the farm, and that's the problem.
But it's hard to see it as the system and not as a personal failure.
I can see that. And I remember the news stories of weeping families as auctions were selling off all their stuff. And, it's, police being on scene, that sort of thing. It was ugly. I think we are on the verge of a precipice of another 1980, because and this is the part that just, I wish I could get a podium and go out and talk to these farmers and point out the fact that the government aid isn't coming to most of you. It's going to a handful of wealthy corporate farmers, where 8 people in their household who are all adults are all getting $300,000, $400,000 checks, and you're getting squat. That this system that the conservatives have created, with this mentality of preserve the wealthiest at the expense of all the rest of the farmers, is not helping you. Because if you go through these towns, they are a gas station, they are a co-op in a lot of them, and that's all it is, even if they have a co-op, because they're going away now. And on top of that, you have, I get it, it's hard to watch this, but your communities are being destroyed, not because of the Democrats, not because of this, but because the Republicans, they basically they're playing you like a fool, so that the people that bankroll their campaigns get more money, and they look at you, and then they look down at the farmers who are really getting screwed over and saying, darn those Democrats. I just wish I could say, you have to know who the villain is in this story. There was that time with the sugar company up in Fargo Moorhead area, or Grand Forks, where the sugar beet guys, where they basically, the co-op, was it Crystal Sugar up there, that basically they went to war with their own workers and with their own farmers, and people started waking up to it. But this desire to blame those liberals overwhelms the reality. Is the call is coming from within your own house, and that's where the damage is coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's the corporatization, that's a hard word, of agriculture. These big farmers at the top, they're not the ones who are applying for this mediation. these are what we have left of what are true family farms, like my brother's farm, he's got 500 acres. He really is diversified. He's got cattle, he's got sheep, he's got hogs. He raises corn and soybeans, but also small grains. He has pasture land. He even does bees. And then he's got 4 kids under the age of 8. I'm like, how do you do that all?
It's hard work, man. It is hard work. His honey, by the way, is exceptional. I've had his honey. His honey is seriously
very good. Yeah.
When you're ready to market this, I want to go because it is the best honey I have ever had.
It is so good that my daughter studies abroad for college, and she missed Uncle Joel's honey so much that Grandma sent her a jar all the way over to Prague. The jar did crack, but Grandma was smart. She had it in a plastic bag, so she got Joel's Talsma honey all the way over in the Czech Republic.
Yeah. And the other side of it too is a lot of those big corporate farmers, they're not even living out there. They have a house out there they use for photo ops, but they're living in the suburbs, and the kids go to private school. And then we look at the automation, and that's where I think this is all going, is that you can start automating it and start running much bigger farms. And
much bigger dairies. I mean, they have robotic dairies now. Do you know that? Like robots milk the cattle. The cattle know, they know. You train them. They come into the stall when they want to be milked, and they could just stand there and the machine does it. And so this is where eggs going.
It is.
Any
before we wrap up here, any fun plans out there? When's got the county fairs, anything like that?
Yeah. Lyon County Fair is coming up next week. We have our big blue beautiful DFL tent. That's what I call it, our big blue beautiful tent. We set it up right in the entryway. Thousands of people who come to the Lyon County Fair well, they don't necessarily have to encounter a lot of people, just sort of walk right past, and like, I don't see you. I don't see that beautiful big blue tent. No, don't see you. And then you have some people who just want to come and argue, like, I can't believe you woke libs or, whatever. And then you have, the fairly solid number of people like, thank you for being here. It's nice to know there's Democrats.
Will you be out here for the state fair when it happens?
No, I'm not coming to the state fair this year.
Okay.
Sorry. I have been here the past 2 years, but this year I don't. I'm not sure if my kids' 4-H projects are getting up to the state fair this year. So.
All right. If I don't see you for that, I'm going to get back out to Marshall here before too long, because I wanted to explore Marshall in that area a little bit more.
Sounds good.
Promise.
You know my number. You can come for a home cooked meal at the Gall House.
Oh, we got to get some Joel's honey too.
I get some Joel's honey. That's true. He also has some excellent grass-fed beef. Maybe I'd cook you up a steak.
Now you're
just because Matt McNeil's coming into town.
Now you're teasing me. Now you are teasing me.
There's nothing better than a steak from Joel. Man.
With me being an empty nester, I'm going to take you up on this. I'll talk to you in the next few months. I'm going to come on out there for that. Okay. Sounds fantastic.
Sounds good. I look forward to it.
Anita Gall, Lyon County Fair is next weekend, right? So not this weekend, but the following.
No, it starts Wednesday.
Oh, it starts
what
next
day
Wednesday.
Is that? 13th. Starts the 13th.
13th. Stop on by the fair. See the DFL out there. And you're more than welcome anytime you want to come by this show. You're more than welcome anytime to come by.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
You got it. Anita Gall. We'll take a break. Come on back. Michael Broadcorp. When we do return, it is the Matt McNeil Show.
It's no secret that medical care costs are soaring, with nursing home and skilled nursing care costs being some of the highest. You don't have to deplete your savings in order to receive long-term care. At Schroman Law, we work with families to develop and implement strategic planning for medical assistance for long-term care, for assisted living, nursing home care, or home-based care. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation at schromanlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Hey, it's Tom. There's a war being waged on clean energy. A bill in Congress could eliminate the 30% federal tax credit for solar by the end of 2025. And once it's gone, it may never come back. Fossil fuel giants and their MAGA friends in Washington want to kill green energy. But you can fight back. Going solar with All Energy Solar isn't just smart, it's a form of resistance. You choose where your money goes, not to utility companies, not to fossil fuel billionaires, but toward clean, renewable power for your home. A system from All Energy Solar works in Minnesota year-round because it runs on sunlight, not heat. So even in the dead of winter, you're generating electricity. And All Energy Solar helps you save with every rebate and incentive available. This is the moment to act. Waiting means risking with this tax credit and giving the upper hand to MAGA Republicans. So get your free consultation today at allenergysolar.com and take back your power.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners that use social media. Do you want an authentic way to connect with people in your life? Something more meaningful? Thousands of people just like you know that when it matters, count on Minuteman Uptown for custom quality digital prints. From Canva creations to self-published books, from business cards to banners and signs, we print everything. Find more information at mpuptown.com. Contact Minuteman Uptown today, and we'll help you connect to what matters.
Hey everyone, Ellie Krug from The Legal Trans Woman here with two important announcements. The first is that I finally published my second book, Being Ellen, Second Chance at Life. That book details what life has been like for me living as a woman for the last 15 years. And there are all kinds of themes around chosen family, redemption, and my mission of trying to change the world. Being Ellen is now available on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble, or through your local bookstore. And if you'd like an inscribed copy, reach out to me at ellejkrug@gmail.com and we'll make that happen. The second announcement is that I'll be having a launch party for the book on Thursday, August 21st at the Chanhassen American Legion. The party starts at 6:30 and you'll get to hear me read from the new book. We'll have a blast. Go to the events page on elliekrug.com to sign up for the book launch. I'm super excited about my new book being out in the world and about the launch party to celebrate. Please get the book and let me know what you think. Thanks.
Your AM 950 weather. I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies today with a high near 91. Tonight, showers and storms with a low around 74. And Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 85. Looking for a cozy neighborhood bar and restaurant in Minneapolis? Nightingale serves delicious American classics like their famous Nightingale Burger, ginger tamari chicken wings, and more. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with takeout available. Visit nightingalempls.com for details.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. Thanks to Anita Gall for swinging on by. It's always nice to talk about what's going on in rural Minnesota. Absolutely is. Here, I've got something to give away right now. Brave New Workshop. Last time I was at Brave New Workshop, swear to God, I was crying. I was laughing so hard at the end. They were so funny. Hypocrylic Now is their opening night. They got a brand new one. Hypocrylic, I think is how you say it. Anyway, it's going to be the Hypercrylips Now is opening up. The opening night for their newest presentation is on August 15th. And we got a pair of tickets right now to go see this over at Brave New Workshop. Caller number 5. Let's do caller number 5, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Caller number 5. You'll win a pair of tickets to go see Brave New Workshop. Enjoy that presentation. We got tickets, by the way, to give away not only today, but all next week as well. So 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Caller number 5. You're going to win. Give Brett a ring right now. Michael Broadcorp is our Vikings expert. Did we just lose him?
We did.
We'll get him back. We will get our Vikings expert back to talk Viking stuff with us, because we have our first game of the year, the preseason. It is a preseason game. It's what it is. It's preseason versus the Houston Texans. He is going to join us here momentarily to talk about that. I will say that one of the things that I'm for me that is I want to talk with him about is I think that we've gotten to the point where, after talking about some things, there are some things I think we can discuss that, as he does cover things from the right side of the aisle. I cover things more on the left side of the aisle. There he is. There he is.
Yeah.
Again, Vikings time in a second. We'll get to JJ, and I don't want to upset you, but I think we're not going to predict the season this year right now. There's no way. I'm not going to be that. We got to wait to see some preseason stuff, but we're going to have a serious conversation. But first, I think you and I can definitely find the middle ground. And if that's anything that we can do to help our society, I think this is a good thing. I'm going to start. I have said, and I was talking to someone today about these programs. I mean, personally, and we can disagree on what you should fund and stuff like this, but I think feeding hungry people, helping people with housing, stuff like this, these are good investments. But if these programs that get introduced do not have safeguards in them to stop them from being abused, then it is pointless for us to do these things, because all we're doing is we're allowing criminals to steal state money. And so I think you can agree with that. Fine, you might not agree with the program, but if you don't put any safeguards in place to make sure these programs aren't being abused, well, then whose fault is that? We need to be better at, if we're going to have state programs, having at least some base level of accountability to make sure that the money is not being abused.
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. I mean, one of the things that I've always talked about is I want government to be responsive. I want it to be responsible. I want taxpayers to get a good benefit from spending money, and I want our elected officials to be good stewards. And the ongoing waste, fraud, and abuse is a problem in this state, and it's a problem that we need to look at. And I think it should be a bipartisan issue, and it's a no-brainer. I mean, because ultimately, when there's always this debate, man, and I think you pegged on it really well, which is what should we be spending money on and where should it be going? Well, that conversation is framed entirely different if there's pre-existing programs out there that there's a pattern of waste, fraud, and abuse. And so it's going to be less likely for us to want, Minnesotans, I think taxpayers are going to be less likely to want to spend money in important areas that we identify if there's been a lack of oversight in other areas of state government. I think we should be able to agree on that.
If you have to shut down a complete program because you can't find out where the actual help is because there's so much fraud, there's a problem. And I think, and I granted, I mean, it's a different world. There's a lot of people that grew up and that people weren't like this, but there is this element now that, and it's not just here, it's a lot of states where they're looking at these government programs and trying to figure out ways they can abuse it. And basic oversight that if you have somebody who every month is taking the maximum amount out of this program, well, let's take a look. Why don't you show us your receipts? That's not intrusive. That's just good governance.
I also, Matt, don't believe that any elected official, Democrat or Republican, in the legislature or in constitutional office decides to set up a government program that's going to be funded with the belief that it's going to be abused.
Yeah.
And so I think everyone approaches it from good intentions. And I just think where we can agree is this can't be happening all the time. And Matt, you are someone, and we agree on a lot, and we probably disagree on a lot. But the continual headlines about these programs, I think, is problematic. And I think the internet's on the computer now. I think government can be more responsive and find a way to do this. And this would, I think, would be a great opportunity for there to be public-private partnerships, but other types of things. And we can start spending our tax dollars in more efficient ways and getting the help where it needs.
And it needs to be part of the bill. We're going to have
Absolutely
we're going to have five people we're going to hire, and they're going to do the oversight. Done.
Yes.
And there you go.
That doesn't mean I want Christy Nome running around our state doing things, but I do want reasonable. My dad was a forensic CPA, and I grew up with my dad certainly audited me a few times. So yes, so I know what it needs, and so but also, man, I think it's important doing it in a way that doesn't dehumanize people.
Yeah. The other side, we can agree on that. I think hauling people back to the state of Texas in chains, possibly under a gun, to vote on a bill to give the other side power and then put them in jail. That doesn't sound like democracy to me. And I think this whole idea of, since Trump is so afraid of being impeached that they're trying to rig every state now to basically prevent it, make it almost impossible for the Democrats to take back the U.S. House. This is garbage, man, that we shouldn't be going down this alley at all.
And Matt, I think you may know this a little about me, but I did redistricting for 2 cycles in Minnesota, 2000, 2010. And I'm a redistricting nerd. It's one of the subjects that I really enjoy to follow. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Yep.
And I think that I'm going to maybe take a little bit of a different approach than you. I don't think that Texas legislators should be leaving the state. I think they should be having the debate in there. But simultaneously, I don't think there should be off-year redistricting like this. I don't think it's a good war that Republicans should start, because California and New York can do some things. And I think this is something that I think everyone should agree upon. Sadly, in Minnesota, we've seen a horrific rise of political violence, and having legislators from other states traveling the country. And then, as I mentioned this on my podcast, the last thing I want to see is some posse or someone attempting to make a citizen's arrest. That's not what we want to have done. It shouldn't be done by law enforcement. But I don't want that to happen in any way, shape, or form. I don't want the federal government out there doing that type of stuff. I don't want state governments. But I also think that the debate should be happening inside the state capitol in Texas and inside those legislative bodies. That may be Pollyannish for me, but the one thing I know I will absolutely agree with you on, I do not want law enforcement, citizens arrest, or people targeting legislators and dragging them back to Texas.
And someone made this point to me, and I thought this was a good point. There's a reason why they put the quorum requirements into the books, so that if it is basically a last-ditch effort to stop something that they feel is a big injustice. And whether or not it's kind of one of those things. It's a tool that both sides can use and have used in the past in multiple cases. It might not be the most ideal, or even we can have a discussion about is it the most democratic, but the reason is that you put it in there is to stop stuff like this from happening.
Correct.
It's a government takeover, a one-party takeover of the state. So enough politics, because I know this is what we've wanted to get to right now, especially after the disastrous destruction of the Twins. So Vikings preseason tomorrow, Houston Texans. They're saying JJ McCarthy is going to play 2 series. What's your thoughts on that?
I think he's going to. I think it's going to be exciting. My goodness, I hope it's a couple brief ones. I was excited about talking to you about this because I think you've really had a good position you've had a good policy position about preseason games and what the approach is to them. And so I was excited to talk to you about this. I hope that he has a very limited role in the game. I'm going to be nervous for certainly anyone who plays, a starter that plays. But I do think that these preseason games, I thought the approach that the Vikings took last year was a little bit different than the previous years. And so we'll see how they do. I mean, traditionally Vikings, aside from last season, these haven't been the most exciting games. But this has the potential, I think, to really energize the fan base, which I think is already energized, but also show some excitement and show some flair.
As far as excitement goes, these 3 preseason matchups are not exactly going to ring anyone's bell. The Texans tomorrow, that is a 3 p.m. Start time. On the 16th, it's the Patriots come to the Vikings, and then the Vikings are at the Titans. Now, I will say this, and you and I have talked about preparedness. Once we went from 4 preseason games down to 3, you used to play that 3rd preseason game a lot more of your starters because you wanted to give them the 1 week of rest before the regular season started up. But now that you're down to that 3 games, if you're going to play your starters, say 1.5, maybe 2 quarters, do it in that 3rd game, especially against the Titans. And I think that will come through nicely for you.
Yep.
Play that. That's the game that you get the guys in there. You're running your first team. You're running your book. Get in there. Let them rest the second half. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, they're playing 2 series here. The one thing I'm concerned about is exactly what you said. Is I don't want him on the field for too long. My biggest concern is, as a guy who had a daughter who tore her ACL, that if you have a ACL tear, you're very more than likely going to have another one. And it's the genetics of it. And that's, if you talk to these go to TRIA and talk to these guys, they'll talk to you about that. I don't, as well as I do, these other teams are going to target him. And especially these guys that are up and coming in these preseason games, keeping him out there for a long time, I'm a little wary of that.
Yeah, I've become, since doing these interviews with you and doing this analysis, I've become less and less fan of preseason games, to be honest with you, because they're just risk. They're just risky situations. And so I think with JJ McCarthy and other stuff coming in, I think that this is going to be, first of all, let me say at the onset, I am so excited about this Viking season more than I think I have been in previous years. I'm excited about JJ McCarthy. But I also have this sense of just nervousness that's going to probably be with me on every single play because I know what's going to happen.
Well, did you see the game? Preseason game was last night. Colts Ravens. Okay, so Richardson Sr., who is their quarterback, has a dislocated finger because the running back who was supposed to block the guy ran right past him. He had a clean shot on the quarterback and it dislocated his finger. The San Diego guy's got a torn ACL. I think he's out. You always get these injuries of starters, which really change the dynamic of teams for the season. I just don't want to see that happen, especially because I think our backup QB core right now is just not anything. Last year, I felt a little bit more comfortable with it, but I mean, I think I'm a little concerned about what would happen, although it sounds like our defense right now, give them the award for best defense of the year. People have already said the defense in these practices is looking vicious.
Absolutely. Are we going to talk about the potential backup option that's been rumored? I mean, are we going to dip our toe there?
Our Gopher boy?
Are we or Cousins?
Oh, well, okay. But okay, so who's the guy down in is it Penix down in
Yes.
So the problem with that, you brought that up, is like, because it was like, okay, do we really need him? Maybe we trade him away. But then Penix in his preseason practices looked horrible.
Correct.
Not like Rodgers chucking interceptions left and right over in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
But he looked bad. And the first thing I said is, if I'm the Atlanta Falcons, I don't know if I'm giving up Kirk Cousins, because there's a decent chance if he's not there, Cousins is back on the field by game 2, game 3.
Correct. But if you watched the Netflix series, The Quarterback, it's very clear that Kirk Cousins is heartbroken about not being in Minnesota. I mean, it's very clear he would love to be back here under a circumstance, because I think that really came through in that series, was that how much he missed Minnesota. And honestly, in a backup role, I don't know that that's a bad thing. I mean, I understand the complexities with the Falcons right now, but I got to tell you, if Cousins came back as a backup, I'd be like, it's not a bad idea.
He's not Rodgers. I mean, he's not. He's not.
Can we also just both comment on the fact that we're really glad that didn't happen?
Thank God that did not happen.
Oh my gosh.
Pittsburgh's going to be a train wreck. I hate saying it, but it's going to be, oh God, that is just going to go so horribly wrong. Anything before we'll make our prediction about the preseason game, what that's worth. Anything you seen around the league right now that is, catching your attention?
No, I just think this is going to be, what I'm really curious about in our division is what's going to happen with Chicago. I mean, I think that's going to be real interesting. That's a team I'm really interested in watching to see. The lines have risen a lot, but I'm really interested in seeing what happens with Chicago. There's been they got a new coach, that dynamic down there. We're going to see. I'm really going to be keeping my eye on Chicago, not because I want to see them succeed. I hope the organization folds, but I'm just curious what's going to happen with them.
I will make this prediction right now. I'll just say this. Detroit is going to probably still be good Detroit. I think the Packers are going to be worse than expected, and I think the Bears are going to be better than expected. I think that this is definitely, I think, the trend you're seeing in this conference.
That's fantastic. And I should note, my wife is listening right now, and I'm glad you said that. She's a Packers fan. It's also our wedding anniversary today.
Oh, I
want to wish her a happy anniversary to my wife. And I'm glad you heard some realistic news about the Packers.
I am so sorry. But I call it straight here. Okay, so Vikings and Houston Texans preseason game. Any call you want to make on it?
I hope I'm going to be honest with you. I just hope nobody gets hurt.
I hope no one gets
hurt. That's my main thing. And then if the Vikings win, that's great.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I could care. I mean, by the time we get to the fourth quarter, it's a bunch of guys. Most of the people on the field are not going to be playing with these teams anyway. So, and that's where these games are usually decided. So, Vikes by 2.
I like that. And for the listeners, if I don't mind just doing a little producing here for a second, you nailed it last season. And so for those listening to the archives of last season, the cadence of this, again, it's your show, but I think we should not mess with anything. And I think we should just go through the predictions when we come up to this. Usually go first, and I'll give a go, no go. But you took us, look us where you took us last time.
I will save those real predictions for when we get to the real season. We see what team I have on the field. But I will make this one plea for everybody out there playing fantasy football. I know in this city, I guarantee you someone's going to draft JJ in the first round as your starting quarterback. Don't do that. I'm not saying he's not going to be good, but in a normal world, you should be able to pick him up in the second round if you want to have him on your team as a luxury item. But do not just there's someone at every one of these that's going to say in the second round, I'm taking JJ. And I'm like, what are you doing? Don't do that.
It's probably going to be my wife or kids because we play fantasy football together. By the way, man, I do want to just disclose one thing.
Yes.
What you're seeing in the background, I have a new feature to my office for these calls. I have a Vikings hue light that's now going. It's cycling through the Vikings purple and the gold, and so you're seeing that during this thing here. I decided to spice it up and make some investments in my analysis studio. So I have some. That's why you're seeing it get a little lighter and darker. I got Vikings purple and Vikings gold that's coming through here on a regular basis now.
I was purple and gold after the Twins traded away 90% of their team.
Yes.
That was a natural hue. I guess it's Viking season now because I'm done with the Twins at this point. Michael Broadcorp, we will definitively chat with you. I think let's plan on talking before the last preseason game. And then we'll, of course, obviously back into the regular season after that, okay?
Sounds great, my friend. Have a great weekend. Go Vikings.
Thank you, Marriage. Michael Broadcorp. We'll take a break, come back. It's the Matt McNeil Show.
President of the Welshire. The Welshire excels as a memory care community in the Twin Cities, located in Bloomington, and we have a new location in Medina. But what makes Welshire so different is the people that we have working for us. Our team has been together for the past 25 years providing this type of care. We employ some of the most amazing nurses and LPNs that are in the building 24 hours a day. We also have an activity team that is over 40 people. And our scheduling begins at 9 o'clock in the morning for activities, and it goes to 7, 8 o'clock at night. And that's 7 days a week. You won't find that. That is why many of the families that come to Welshire are actually coming from another memory care facility. Not all memory care is created equally. And that's why I encourage you, if you've had issues and problems at other places, come see what makes us so special. Please visit thewelshiremn.com and book a tour.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP, or visit snapconstruction.com.
The place for live music is the Park Tavern. Live music takes over the Park Tavern's dog-friendly patio. Head over on Tuesday, August 12th, it's Colby Straka. Wednesday, August 13th, it's Bryce Heggie. And on Thursday, August 14th, it's American Bootleg. Music runs from 5:30 to 8 p.m. and reservations for groups of 8 or more are recommended. And the Park Tavern offers private and semi-private spaces for small and large groups with no room fees and no minimum spending requirements. On Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park, outdoor live music is on at the Park Tavern. Oh, yeah, there we go. Well, that does it for this week. Nice show today. Nice and solid. We are, of course, done. We are going to be back on a Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. Taking us out this week, how about a little Van Halen? It's Panama. Have a good one. Until Monday. See ya.
Hi, I'm Bruce Klopfleisch. Join me every Sunday at 5 p.m. for Politics Matters.